Why, hello, I'm Barry with Empty Hammock, and this is Molly. The guys came yesterday morning and manhandled these big beasts of solid rock into the house. Just the island is over 600 pounds. It is solid, actual natural stone. We went with the leathered top instead of the super shiny, which I actually really like. It's a more of a matte finish and gives it a lot more character. While they were here, they drilled the holes for both of the pop-up outlets, which are really cool. I'm glad we went ahead and did that. Took the extra time and effort to put in those. I think it's going to be really useful, actually. This is the system they used to hold the sink up underneath the underside of the countertop until the adhesive dries. I could probably go ahead and take them off, but I'm going to leave them a little bit longer. Molly is currently going through about 200 different options for flooring. We are getting close to actually installing all the floors throughout the house, so it's time to make a decision on that now that the base cabinet is installed. We had quite a few people talk about the difference in color between the stained and the white. The reason that we're going with stained is because we're going with a natural wood floor look on the main floor throughout the house. And this is all going to tie in together into the island. And then the back wall and that other cabinet are going to be sort of separated visually from that. I think it's all going to tie in really well. And now I'm going to be working on plumbing. Weehaw. So here in this closet in the hallway, I've already put down a little bit of the flooring. We got one box to try out to see if we like the color. I'm going to go ahead and use it in the closet because I want the water heater and all the stuff to be over top of a waterproof floor. Not that I anticipate a leak, but I've been doing this for too long to say that it's never going to leak. So we're going to make sure that it's a waterproof floor. Today I'm going to be focusing on the mana block, putting all of the pipes throughout the entire house into this. But before I do that, I have to tear out what's already here. I have already gotten the main cut off at the road. Took me a minute to find it because I had no idea where it was. And I've opened every valve in the house. So that most of the water can drain out of the system so that I don't get completely hosed. Although I still will inevitably end up getting wet today. It's just part of the job. That is a gator bite. These are the worst invention since the dawn of time. Never, ever, ever use these where you can't get to them, boxed up inside of the wall, because they fail. I have seen it so many times. They do not last. Yeah, that's a lot more water than I wanted. I'll have to come back under here with my wet back and get all those sucks back up again. Here's the main line coming in the house that comes from the street, goes to a cutoff, and then the pressure reducer valve, and then the double backflow preventer, dual backflow, to keep all the water from going back into the network for all the other houses, and then it goes in a 3/4 line up to the mana block. And I'm now starting to run the individual lines that go to each one of the different fixtures throughout the house. I went ahead and put in 2 blocks on the sides so that when the pipes come in, I can bend them and attach them directly to here so that I'm not using an elbow. Don't use elbows in PEX unless it is so tight that you have to. PEX is designed to bend. And I went ahead and put a little bevel on the side of these boards just to make them look a little bit better. And before everybody goes into full panic mode, yes, these are treated. Modern treated wood doesn't have formaldehyde in it. You can put treated wood inside your house. It is treated with copper, not formaldehyde. I now have 3 circuits run, hot and cold. Washing machine, master bath shower, master bath sink, and then the cold for those. I'm going to run the cold for the master turtlet. Let me show you this process. I start out by drilling the hole in the floor, and then I put my fish stick down the hole, which glows in the dark in the basement, so I can find it. Just like that. Then I take the pipe and I put it down in the next hole in line. I make sure there's plenty of coil up in this room so I can pull it down through. Then I crawl into the basement and pull the pipe down. And then feed it through the path that I want to take to the bathroom. Then I forget my drill upstairs. And I punch a hole through the cross member where the pipe is going to go. Feed it through that. And here's the fish stick. So this is where it comes through the floor, right there. And bend the pipe up the hole. Just like that. No elbows, it's just bent, just like the sink. Then I go back upstairs with my drill. And I leave it here for the next hole I have to drill. Then I grab the fittings I need. And I put the shutoff on the end of the pipe. I use a spacer to make sure that it's the correct distance off of the floor. Just like that. Every one of these I'm going to have a scutcheon on the bottom. And I want to make sure that it doesn't pull all the way down flat to the floor like that, because I wouldn't be able to put the scutcheon on it. So I use this as a spacer to keep it from going down. Then I go back into the crawl space. And I set this here because I'm going to need it in a minute. And now I install little clamps on the pipe, make sure that it doesn't ever move, and to make sure that it stays pulled down and not push up out of the floor. So you can see the way that this pegs work. I know I keep harping on this, but it's meant to bend. I've seen a lot of plumbers that would have put elbow through there, or dropped it and then elbowed straight through this direction. What this does is it enables it to be a solid line, no connections, no possibilities for leak. The other thing I'm sure I'm going to get asked about is how am I going to insulate these pipes? I'm not. We are not in a cold enough climate where we are in latitude in the US. These can stay uninsulated, just like the main line coming in from the street here is uninsulated. It does get pretty cold here, but not cold enough with the size of this giant crawl space and the fact that it is completely underground, the earth is going to keep it warm. I do not need to insulate them. Then I backtrack and ow, hit my head on that pipe. It's an important step. And I make sure that the new pipe I just put in is completely attached up to the rafters. Or no, joists, not rafters. Rafters are above, joists are below. And all the excess pipe I push back up into the room above. And careful not to kink or crimp this pipe. Just like that. Then I leave the hammer and clamps down here. Goodbye, hammer. I'll see you soon. And head back up. Then I carefully bend and attach the pipe to the next one in line. Then I install the sticker on it so I know what it is. Make sure that it's level so I can sleep tonight. Good. And then I repeat that entire process for the next thing. In this case, probably the other bathroom. I just made the last connection, the only one in this whole thing that has to have a T. This is the silcock, or the spigot on the outside of the house. 2 of them. And they both go to the same valve. So that's it. It's done. I'll give you a little bit more detail about what exactly this thing is. Okay, so the water comes in, and again you've got the pressure reducer, double backflow valve, comes up and supplies the cold side, all the blue ones, on this side of the manifold. Then it goes from here up and over to the water heater, which is going to be right here, up out of the top of the water heater with hot water to the left side, which then supplies the left side of the manifold. And every one of these has an individual cutoff. So if something happens at, say, the master toilet or whatever, you can run over here, find bathtub 2, whatever, and turn it off. And that aside, which is a pretty cool feature, the main reason, again, that I like this system is there's no connections under the house. PEX can freeze solid without breaking, which means that there's no possibility for leaks where you can't see them. It is 8 o'clock. I have been here since 8 o'clock. That's 12 hours. Nice. It feels good to get the whole house done. And yeah, I think I'll go home and eat something. The power company just left with the new service hookup. It is now attached to the grid. I'm gonna run inside here and make sure that everything is off. And then I'm gonna flip the breakers and see what happens. It's hard to do one-handed. Alright, per code, I've already had one breaker hooked up, so that's off. This is off. Let's go turn this on out here.
Didn't blow up.
Yay! Yeah. Yeah. Can't do that one-handed. Here, hold that. Main is on. That guy's on. We got a light. Reset that. Okay. You should have a light now.
Okay, thank you.
I got just the lights and outlets that are already working in the other box hooked up into this new box. That way we can still have lights and outlets. I'm not going to focus on all the other circuits like the kitchen outlets and fridge and all that stuff. I need to get the plumbing done. So I'm going to focus back on that. Get it completely finished installing and then pressure tested so we can have the water back on here. I have the last connection for the hot side of the shower to put together because I didn't have the male adapter. And then I'm going to be putting in the water heater. Just like that. I still have to hook up the electrical, but I'll do that later. I need to get it all pressure tested. I have some zip ties here to attach the foam after it's pressure tested, but I need to get to all the joints first. So let me show you a little bit about this. So again, the water comes up through here, through the cold side, all the way up through this pipe, past a cutoff. There's a pressure release, or a pressure tank, so that as the water in the water heater heats up and expands, that pressure can go somewhere. That's what that's for. It keeps the longevity of the pipes good. Everything goes down and gets hot and then comes back up. I have another cutoff. I always do two, so that you can isolate the water heater. It's also a pain because if there's a leak somewhere and it pops and you run over here and turn off this one, well, you still have all of the pressure and the water in the little pressure tank. So you've got another like gallon and a half of water that's going to be spraying everywhere. So this keeps it from spraying everywhere. I did not have any 3/4 inch red pipe. I needed like a foot. So I just used blue there. No big deal. The color doesn't matter as far as the functionality. Just makes it easier to tell what's what. And under the foam on this side, I have the stainless steel flex line. You cannot hook PEX directly up to a water heater. It'll actually void the warranty on it. And then of course the pop off goes down into a pan, which is plumbed outside. It does not just go into the crawl space, it's actually all the way to the outside. So that's it as far as the plumbing. I'm just gonna pump the whole thing up to about 60 PSI, see if it explodes, call for the inspection, and it should be good to go. And if you guys are enjoying this kind of content, please consider subscribing and sharing and liking and all that good stuff. It really does help me know that this is worth it, that making the videos are worth it. It also helps me know what you guys want to see. Thanks for watching.